When Michael Jordan's phone rang on that quiet Tuesday morning, he had no idea his life was about to change forever. The voice on the other end said something that made his blood run cold. "Mr. Jordan, we're calling about Reggie Thorne. He collapsed yesterday, and we found your business card in his wallet." Reggie Thorne. The name hit Michael like a punch to the stomach. His greatest rival. The defender who made him work harder than anyone else. The man who pushed him to win 6 championships. They hadn't spoken in 26 years. But what the nurse said next made Michael's hands shake with anger and sadness. Reggie wasn't just sick, he was homeless, living in his car. The man who once had $47 million was washing cars for $15 an hour. How did this happen? How did a basketball legend fall so far? And what would Michael do when he saw his old friend broken and ashamed in that hospital bed? Michael grabbed his keys and headed to his private jet. He was going to Detroit. But he had no idea if Reggie would even want to see him. Would Reggie accept help from the man who beat him so many times? Would his pride get in the way? And there was something else. Something Michael had been carrying in his pocket for 35 years. A broken piece of metal that connected him to Reggie in ways nobody else understood. A secret promise they made as teenagers that could change everything. What happened when these two legends came face to face after all those years? Did Reggie accept Michael's help? And what was Michael's plan that shocked the entire world? Watch this whole video to find out how a single phone call turned into the most incredible story of friendship, loss, and redemption you've ever heard. Because what Michael did next wasn't just about helping one friend. It was about changing the lives of hundreds of forgotten athletes. And it all started with 3 simple words Reggie said that made Michael cry. Stay with us to discover the truth behind their rivalry, the betrayal that destroyed Reggie's life, and the reunion that will break your heart and put it back together again. Michael Jordan sat in his leather chair on the top floor of his Chicago office building. Outside the huge windows, the city sparkled in the morning sun. Inside, the walls were covered with memories. Championship rings sat in glass cases. Old jerseys hung in frames. Photographs showed Michael flying through the air, ball in hand, crowds cheering. But this Tuesday morning felt different. Michael couldn't explain why. He just felt heavy. His assistant, Mrs. Patricia Chen, knocked on the door. She'd worked for Michael for 15 years. She knew his coffee order. She knew when he wanted to talk and when he needed silence. She never interrupted him unless it was important. "Mr. Jordan?" Her voice sounded worried. Michael looked up from the papers on his desk. "Come in, Patricia." She walked in slowly, holding her phone. Her face was pale. "Sir, there's a call. It's from Detroit Memorial Hospital." Michael's stomach dropped. Detroit. He hadn't thought about Detroit in years. Well, that wasn't true. He thought about it sometimes, late at night, when old memories came creeping back. "Oh, what is it?" Michael asked, standing up. "They say it's urgent. It's about someone named Reggie Thorne." The room seemed to spin. Michael grabbed the edge of his desk. Reggie Thorne. That name brought back 1,000 memories. Good ones and hard ones. Reggie had been his rival, his greatest challenger, the man who never, ever gave up, no matter how many points Michael scored. "Put them through," Michael said quietly. Patricia handed him the phone and left the room, closing the door softly behind her. "This is Michael Jordan," he said into the phone. "Mr. Jordan, this is Nurse Kimberly Davis from Detroit Memorial Hospital." The woman's voice was kind but serious. "I'm so sorry to bother you, sir. We found your contact information in a patient's wallet. His name is Reggie Thorne. Do you know him? Yes, Michael said, and his heart was beating fast now. Yes, I know Reggie. Is he okay? What happened? There was a pause. Michael heard papers rustling. Mr. Thorne collapsed yesterday during a free community basketball clinic. He was teaching kids how to play defense. The nurse took a breath. Sir, he has some health problems. His back, his heart. But that's not why I'm calling. Then why are you calling? Michael's hands were shaking now. Mr. Thorne has no health insurance, no emergency contact listed. When we went through his wallet to find someone to call, we found your business card. It's very old, from 1998, I think. It's worn out and faded, but your number was still readable. Michael remembered that year, his last championship with the Bulls, the final shot, the crowd going crazy, and Reggie, standing on the other team's bench, clapping slowly, respecting the game, respecting the fight. I'll pay for everything, Michael said immediately. Whatever he needs, surgery, medicine, everything. Send the bills to my office. Sir, that's very generous. The nurse's voice got even quieter. But there's something else you should know. We asked Mr. Thorne where we should send him after he's released. He gave us an address, but Mr. Jordan, the address he gave us was for a parking lot. When we asked him about it, he finally admitted the truth. Michael felt sick. What truth? Mr. Thorne is homeless, sir. He's been living in his car for the past 2 years. The phone almost slipped from Michael's hand. Reggie Thorne, the man who once signed a $40 million contract. The man who had endorsement deals with shoe companies and sports drinks. The man whose face was on billboards across the country. Living in a car? That's impossible, Michael whispered. Reggie had money. Lots of money. I don't know about his past, sir. I only know what's happening now. He's alone, he has nothing, and he's too proud to ask anyone for help. When I told him I was going to call you, he begged me not to. He said he didn't want you to see him like this. Michael walked to the window. Down below, people rushed to work. Cars honked. Life moved forward. But somewhere in Detroit, his old rival was lying in a hospital bed, broken and alone. What does he need? Michael asked. Right now, today, what does Reggie need? Honestly, everything. Medical care, yes, but also food, clothes, a place to live, someone who cares. Michael closed his eyes. How had this happened? How had the world let one of its greatest athletes fall so far? Tell Reggie I'm coming, Michael said. Sir, he might not want. Tell him I'm coming anyway, Michael interrupted. Tell him an old friend wants to see him. I'll tell him, Mr. Jordan. Michael hung up the phone. He stood at the window for a long time, not moving. His mind was racing. Reggie homeless, Reggie sick, Reggie alone. Patricia knocked again. Sir, is everything all right? No, Michael said honestly. Everything is not all right. He walked to his desk and opened the bottom drawer. Inside was a small wooden box. He hadn't opened it in years. Inside the box were old ticket stubs, photographs, newspaper clippings, memories from his playing days. And there, at the bottom, was an old photograph. He picked it up carefully. It showed 2 men in an empty arena. Both were young, sweating, exhausted. One was Michael in his Bulls jersey. The other was Reggie in his Pistons uniform. They weren't fighting. They weren't competing. They were sitting on the court together, sharing a bottle of water, laughing about something. Michael didn't remember who took the picture, but he remembered that moment. It was after a brutal playoff game. Everyone else had left. Just 2 rivals, talking about life, about pressure, about being the best. You make me better, Mike, Reggie had said that night. "Right back at you," Michael had replied. When had they stopped talking? When had life gotten so busy that Michael forgot to check on the people who mattered? A single tear ran down Michael's face. He quickly wiped it away. "Patricia," he called out. She opened the door. "Yes, sir?" "Cancel everything on my schedule." He'd call the pilot. "Tell him to get the jet ready. We're going to Detroit." "Right away, sir." "How long will you be gone?" Michael looked at the photograph again. Two young men who pushed each other to be great. Two warriors who respected each other. Two friends who lost touch. "As long as it takes," Michael said quietly. Patricia nodded and left. Michael put the photograph in his jacket pocket, right over his heart. Then he grabbed his phone and made a call. "This is Jordan. I need you to pull some files for me. Everything you can find about Reggie Thorne. Bank accounts, property records, everything. I want to know exactly what happened to him." He listened to the response, then said, "I don't care how long it takes. I want answers." Michael hung up and looked around his office one more time. All these trophies, all these awards, all these symbols of success. What did they mean if he couldn't help a friend in need? He reached into his pocket and pulled out something small. It was attached to his keychain, and he carried it everywhere, though most people never noticed it. It was half of a small silver medal, cheap metal, broken edges. Most people would think it was junk. But to Michael, it meant everything. He rubbed his thumb over the smooth surface, remembering. Then he put it back in his pocket, grabbed his coat, and headed for the door. "I'm coming, Reg," he whispered to himself. "I'm coming, and I'm going to make this right." He didn't know how yet. He didn't have a plan. He only knew that Reggie Thorne, his rival, his challenger, his friend, needed help. And Michael Jordan never walked away from a challenge. Not on the court, and not in life. As he stepped into the elevator, Michael's phone buzzed. A text from his lawyer. "Found some information about Thorne. It's bad, really bad. Call me when you can." Michael's jaw tightened. He put the phone away without responding. Whatever had happened to Reggie, whatever had brought him so low, Michael would find out. And he would fix it. The elevator doors closed. Michael was going to Detroit. The private jet climbed through the clouds. Michael stared out the window, watching Chicago disappear below. But his mind wasn't in the present. His mind was traveling back in time, back to 1993. Chicago Stadium, June 1993. NBA Finals. The crowd roared so loud it hurt your ears. 20,000 people on their feet. The Chicago Bulls versus the Detroit Pistons. Game 7. Winner takes the championship. Young Michael Jordan stood at half court, sweat dripping down his face. His legs burned, his lungs screamed for air, but his eyes were focused on one person. Number 23 for the Pistons, Reggie Thorne. Reggie was tall, 6 feet 7 inches, with long arms and lightning-quick feet. He moved like a cat, smooth, dangerous. While other defenders got tired, Reggie seemed to get stronger as the game went on. "Ready for another round, Mike?" Reggie said, grinning. His smile was confident, but not mean. It was the smile of someone who loved the challenge. "Always," Michael shot back. The ball went up. The game continued. Every time Michael got the ball, Reggie was there. When Michael went left, Reggie was already there. When Michael went right, Reggie blocked his path. It was like Reggie could read Michael's mind. Michael drove toward the basket. Reggie stayed with him, step for step. Michael jumped. Reggie jumped higher. The ball flew through the air. Smack! Reggie's hand knocked the ball away. The crowd gasped. Michael landed hard, Frustrated, Reggie picked up the ball and dribbled down the court. Michael chased him, but Reggie was too fast. Reggie scored easily, then turned back to Michael. "Not tonight, Mike," Reggie said, breathing hard but smiling. "Not tonight." The game went back and forth. Michael scored. Reggie answered. Reggie blocked a shot. Michael stole the ball. It was beautiful basketball. Two warriors pushing each other to the limit. With 10 seconds left, the Bulls were down by 1 point. Michael had the ball. This was it. Everything came down to this moment. 20,000 people held their breath. Michael faked left. Reggie didn't fall for it. Michael spun right. Reggie was still there. Michael jumped, pulling up for the shot. Reggie jumped with him, his long arm stretching toward the ball. The ball left Michael's fingers. It spun through the air. Time seemed to slow down. The buzzer sounded. The ball hit the rim, bounced once, twice, and fell through the net. Bulls win. The stadium exploded. Michael's teammates rushed the court. Confetti fell from the ceiling. Reporters pushed forward with cameras and microphones. But Michael wasn't celebrating yet. He looked around, searching the chaos. There. Reggie Thorne stood at the Pistons bench, hands on his hips, staring at the scoreboard. His face showed disappointment, but not anger. He'd given everything. Sometimes, everything still wasn't enough. Michael walked over. Teammates tried to pull him toward the celebration, but he shook them off. "Reg," Michael said, and Reggie turned. For a moment, neither man spoke. Then Reggie stuck out his hand. "Great shot," Reggie said. "I almost had it." "Almost," Michael agreed, shaking his hand. "You played incredible." Not incredible enough. They stood there, two exhausted warriors, surrounded by screaming fans and flashing cameras. But in that moment, they only saw each other. "You made me earn every single point," Michael said seriously. "Nobody pushes me like you do." Reggie's expression softened. "That's the job, Mike. Make you work for it. Make you prove you're the best." "You make me better," Michael said quietly, so only Reggie could hear over the noise. Reggie looked surprised. Then he smiled. A real smile. Not the competitive one from the court. "Right back at you," Reggie said. A reporter shoved a microphone between them. "Michael, here's how does it feel to beat Reggie Thorne again?" Michael frowned. "Beat him? Did you watch the same game I just played? Reggie almost beat us single-handedly. Show some respect." The reporter looked embarrassed and moved away. Reggie laughed. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did," Michael said. "People don't understand. They think we hate each other, but we don't. We respect each other." "Most people don't get it," Reggie agreed. "They think rivalry means enemies." "It doesn't," Michael said firmly. "Rivalry means bringing out the best in each other." They shook hands again, then Reggie walked toward the locker room. Michael watched him go, feeling something he didn't expect. Sadness. He'd won the championship, but he'd miss playing against Reggie. The season was over. No more battles until next year. 3 hours later, the empty arena hallway. Michael was leaving the building, his championship trophy under his arm. Most of the crowd had gone home. The arena was quiet now, almost peaceful. He heard the sound of a basketball bouncing. Curious, Michael followed the sound. It led him back to the main court. There, alone in the empty stadium, was Reggie Thorne. Reggie was shooting free throws, making one, missing one, making one, missing one. He looked tired and sad. "Hey!" Michael called out. Reggie turned, surprised. "Shouldn't you be at a celebration party?" "Probably," Michael admitted. He walked onto the court. "What are you still doing here?" Reggie caught the ball and held it. thinking, wondering. You know? Wondering what? If I'll ever beat you. Reggie's voice was honest, vulnerable. I train harder than anyone. I study film every night, and I give everything I have, and it's still not enough. Michael sat down on the court. After a moment, Reggie sat down too. You came closer than anyone else, Michael said. That matters. Does it? Reggie asked. Second place doesn't get a championship ring. No, but it means something else. It means you're great, really great. People will remember this game forever. They'll remember both of us. Reggie bounced the ball once, slowly. The pressure never stops, does it? Everyone expecting you to be perfect, to win every time, to never have a bad day. Never, Michael agreed. Sometimes I feel like I'm carrying the whole world. One mistake, and everyone turns on you. Exactly, Reggie said, looking at Michael with understanding. That's exactly it. Nobody else gets it. Not my teammates, not my family. But you understand. They sat in silence for a moment. Two competitors who pushed each other to the breaking point, but also two men who understood the weight of greatness. Same time next season? Reggie finally asked. I'll be ready, Michael promised. They both smiled. The memory shifted forward. 1997. Different city. Different game. Reggie Thorne stood on a stage in Detroit, holding a championship trophy high in the air. His Pistons had finally won. The crowd cheered his name. Michael watched on television from his hotel room. He'd been eliminated in the playoffs earlier. Seeing Reggie win should have hurt, should have made him angry. Instead, Michael smiled. You earned it, Reg, he said to the TV screen. You finally earned it. The camera zoomed in on Reggie's face. He was crying happy tears. Next to him stood a beautiful woman with kind eyes. His fiancée, Diana. She kissed his cheek. Reggie's mother stood on his other side, beaming with pride. Reggie had everything. The championship, the love, the success, the future. The reporter asked, Reggie, what does this moment mean to you? Reggie wiped his eyes. It means I never gave up. People said I'd always be second to Michael Jordan. But I kept working, kept fighting. And now I'm a champion too. Do you have anything to say to Michael Jordan? Reggie looked directly at the camera. Mike, I know you're watching. Thank you. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for making me work harder than I ever thought possible. This trophy? You're part of the reason I have it. Because you showed me what greatness looks like. Michael felt a lump in his throat watching that moment. And the memory shifted again. 1998, the final meeting. Bulls versus Pistons. NBA Finals again. Michael's Bulls won. His 6th championship. His last one. After the game, in a quiet corner of the arena, Michael and Reggie shook hands one more time. You retiring? Reggie asked. Thinking about it, Michael admitted. What about you? I've got a few more years in me, Reggie said. He smiled. Someone's got to keep the defense strong around here. You'll do great, Michael said. You've got a bright future, Reg. Championship ring, big contract coming, endorsement deals. The world is yours. Thanks, Mike, for everything, for the battles, for making me better. They hugged briefly, the way athletes do, quick, strong, meaningful. See you next season, Reggie said confidently. Michael nodded. So see you next season. But as they walked away from each other, Michael noticed something. In the crowd of people surrounding Reggie was a man in an expensive suit. The man was whispering in Reggie's ear, showing him papers, pointing at things. The man's name tag said, Vincent Caruso, financial manager. Something about Vincent's smile made Michael uncomfortable. It was too wide, too eager, like a wolf looking at prey. But Michael pushed the feeling away. Reggie was a grown man. He could handle his own business. Michael never saw Reggie again after that night. Back to the present. The private jet. "Sir, we're landing in Detroit," the pilot's voice came through the speaker. Michael blinked, coming back to reality. The memories faded away, but the feelings stayed. Pride, respect, regret. Why hadn't he stayed in touch? Why hadn't he checked on Reggie over the years? Michael pulled out his phone. While he'd been lost in memories, his lawyer had sent him information. Files, documents, news articles. The headline of the first article made his blood run cold. Former NBA star Reggie Thorne loses $47 million in investment scandal. Manager Vincent Caruso vanishes. Michael's hands shook as he read. Vincent Caruso, that man with the wolf smile, had stolen everything. Every penny Reggie had earned. The houses, the cars, the future, all gone. Another article. Reggie Thorne's fiancée, Diana, calls off wedding. I can't handle this stress. Another one. Thorne sells championship ring to pay for mother's medical bills. And the worst one, from 2019. Where is Reggie Thorne now? A former star disappears from public eye. The article included a quote from Reggie. I learned who my real friends were. Turns out, I had none. Michael's jaw clenched so tight it hurt. Rage burned in his chest. Not at Reggie, but at Vincent Caruso. At Diana, who left when things got hard. At the teammates who stopped calling. At the world that forgot about heroes once they stopped being useful. And at himself. For not seeing the signs? For not reaching out? For not being there? The plane touched down with a small bump. Michael looked out the window at Detroit. Somewhere in this city, Reggie Thorne was lying in a hospital bed. Broken. Alone. Forgotten. Michael reached into his pocket and touched that half medal on his keychain. The friendship token from so long ago. I'm here, Reg, he whispered. I'm here now, and I'm going to fix this. I promise. But even as he said it, doubt crept in. Could he fix it? Could money repair years of pain and betrayal? Could wealth rebuild trust and hope? Michael didn't know, but he had to try. The plane door opened. Michael stood up, straightened his jacket, and walked toward the exit. Behind him, forgotten on his seat, was the research folder. One page had fallen out. It was a bank statement from 2015. It showed Reggie Thorne trying to call someone. The phone number listed was Michael's. Reggie had reached out. He had tried. But Michael had been too busy with his team, his businesses, his life. The call had gone to voicemail. Michael never called back. If he'd seen that paper, Michael would have cried. But he didn't see it. Not yet. He stepped off the plane into the Detroit sunshine, determined to save his old friend. And not knowing that the hardest part wasn't saving Reggie from poverty. It was saving Reggie from the shame of accepting help from his greatest rival. The black car drove through Detroit's streets. Michael sat in the back seat, watching the city pass by. Buildings that used to shine now looked worn and tired. Stores that used to be full were now empty, windows covered with boards. Detroit had changed, just like Reggie had changed. Michael's phone buzzed. It was his assistant, Patricia. Mr. Jordan, I've sent you the complete file on Mr. Thorne. Everything we could find from 2002 until now. It's difficult to read, sir. Thank you, Patricia, Michael said quietly. He opened his tablet and started reading. Each page made his heart sink lower. The file began with newspaper clippings from 2002. Reggie Thorne retires after incredible career. Signs $8 million final contract. The article showed a photo of Reggie at his retirement party. He looked happy, healthy, full of hope. His fiancée Diana stood beside him, wearing a huge diamond ring. His mother sat in a wheelchair nearby, smiling with pride. The article quoted Reggie. "I'm excited for the next chapter. My financial manager, Vincent Caruso, has set me up perfectly. I'll never have to worry about money. I can focus on family and giving back to the community." Vincent Caruso. That name appeared again and again in the documents. Michael found a photo of Vincent. He was a handsome man with slicked back hair and an expensive suit. His smile showed too many white teeth. His eyes looked cold, even in the picture. The next document was a contract. Michael wasn't a lawyer, but even he could see the problems. Reggie had signed over complete control of his money to Vincent. Every investment, every account, every decision. "No," Michael whispered. "Reggie, what were you thinking?" But he knew what Reggie had been thinking. Vincent had been his best friend since high school. They'd grown up together in Detroit. When Reggie got drafted, he'd brought Vincent along as his manager. He'd trusted him completely. Trust. Such a dangerous thing to give the wrong person. The file continued. 2003. Reggie Thorne invests millions in new technology companies. Michael read the details. Vincent had convinced Reggie to invest in 5 different companies. Software companies, internet businesses, phone technology. The investments sounded smart on paper, but Michael noticed something. All 5 companies had Vincent's name on the board of directors, and all 5 companies had the same business address, a post office box. These companies weren't real, Michael said out loud. His driver glanced in the mirror but said nothing. Michael kept reading. Over 3 years, Reggie's money flowed into these fake companies. $47 million. Gone. Vanished into offshore bank accounts and shell corporations. Vincent had been stealing from his best friend. Slowly. Carefully. For years. 2006. The truth comes out. Financial manager Vincent Caruso disappears. Former NBA star Reggie Thorne left bankrupt. Michael read the police report. Reggie had finally gotten suspicious when he couldn't withdraw money from his accounts. He'd asked Vincent for a meeting. Vincent had promised to bring all the paperwork. Instead, Vincent disappeared, flew to the Cayman Islands. The police found his office empty, his apartment abandoned, his phone disconnected. Every penny was gone. The police report included a statement from Reggie. "Vincent was like my brother. I trusted him with everything. He ate dinner at my house. He played with my nephews. He was going to be the best man at my wedding. How could someone I loved do this to me? How do you recover from that kind of betrayal?" Michael's hands were shaking. He had to put down the tablet for a moment. The car stopped at a red light. Outside, Michael saw a young boy playing basketball in a cracked driveway. The boy jumped and shot, pretending to be a superstar, pretending the world was watching. That used to be Reggie, a kid with dreams, before the betrayal, before everything fell apart. The file got worse. 2007. Reggie Thorne's fiancée, Diana, calls off wedding. "I can't live like this." The article quoted Diana. "I love Reggie, but the stress is too much. The debt collectors calling every day. The reporters following us everywhere. Reggie has changed. He's angry all the time. He won't talk to me. He won't ask anyone for help. I tried to stay. I really did. But I can't watch him destroy himself." There was a photo of Diana leaving Reggie's house with suitcases. In the background, barely visible through a window, was Reggie. He looked destroyed. Michael remembered meeting Diana once, at an all-star game party in 1998. She'd seemed nice, genuine. She'd talked about wanting to start a family with Reggie, about growing old together. But when the money disappeared, so did she. Michael wanted to be angry at her, but he understood. Some people can't handle the hard times. They only want the good parts. 2008 to 2010. The silent years. The file had less information here, just small news articles. Reggie had moved in with his mother. He worked odd jobs, coaching at a high school, teaching basketball camps, working at a sporting goods store. The articles said he'd stopped talking to reporters, stopped going to NBA events, stopped answering calls from former teammates. One article from 2009 mentioned, Reggie Thorne refused to attend his jersey retirement ceremony. Sources say Thorne feels too ashamed to face his former fans. Michael closed his eyes. Reggie had disappeared into shame, into silence. And where had Michael been? Building his business empire, buying the Charlotte Hornets, making more millions, living in luxury, never once thinking to call his old rival. Divi tuk stoshi vienpad smitais, a small hope. Former star Reggie Thorne opens free basketball clinic for Detroit kids. The article had a photo. Reggie looked older, thinner. His hair was starting to gray, but he was smiling, really smiling, as he helped a young girl shoot a basketball. The article quoted him, "These kids deserve someone who believes in them, someone who won't give up on them. I lost everything, but I can still give them hope." Michael felt tears in his eyes. Even when Reggie had nothing, he was trying to help others. That was the Reggie he remembered, the competitor who fought with everything he had. Not for glory, not for money, but because it was the right thing to do. 2014. The worst news. Reggie Thorne's mother diagnosed with cancer. Family asks for privacy. Michael's throat tightened. Reggie's mother had been everything to him, so she'd raised him alone after his father left. She'd worked 3 jobs to buy him his first basketball. She'd sat in the crowd at every game, cheering louder than anyone. The medical bills must have been enormous. The next document confirmed it. Reggie had sold his championship ring to pay for her treatment. The ring that meant everything to him. The proof that he'd been great once. Gone. A quote from Reggie. "My mother gave me everything. This ring is just metal. She's my family. It's not even a choice." 2018. The final goodbye. Local woman Patricia Thorne dies at 71. Son Reggie Thorne by her side. The obituary was short. It mentioned her years working in factories, her love of basketball, her pride in her son's career. It didn't mention that she'd died in a free clinic because Reggie couldn't afford a private hospital. But Michael could read between the lines. There was one photo attached. Reggie standing alone at his mother's grave. His head was bowed. His shoulders were shaking. No one else was in the picture. No friends, no family, just Reggie, completely alone with his grief. 2019. The interview. Michael found a video link. It was from a small Detroit podcast. The host had convinced Reggie to talk, his first interview in years. Michael clicked play. He had to hear Reggie's voice. The Reggie on screen looked broken. His eyes were tired. His clothes were worn but clean. He spoke slowly, carefully, like every word hurt. The host asked, "Reggie, why did you disappear? Your fans wanted to help. Your former teammates tried to reach out. Why did you push everyone away?" Reggie was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Pride, shame, fear. Take your pick. When you go from having everything to having nothing, you don't want people to see you. You don't want them to know you failed. Everyone remembered me as a champion. I couldn't let them see me as this. But people would have understood. Would they? Reggie interrupted. His voice got stronger, angrier. I had $47 million. That's more money than most people will see in 10 lifetimes. And I lost it all. I trusted the wrong person. I was stupid. How do you ask people for help when you made such a terrible mistake? It wasn't your fault, the host said gently. Vincent Caruso stole from you. I let him, Reggie said bitterly. I signed the papers without reading them. I trusted blindly. That's on me. What about your friends? Your former rivals like Michael Jordan? At Michael's name, Reggie's expression changed. Something flickered across his face. Pain, maybe, or longing. Michael has his own life, Reggie said quietly. We were rivals, not friends. We fought on the court. We pushed each other. But that was business. Once the game ended, so did we. That's how it works in sports. But surely... I learned who my real friends were, Reggie said. His voice was flat now, emotionless. Turns out I had none. When the money disappeared, everyone disappeared. My fiancé, my teammates, my business partners, everyone. And you know what? I don't blame them. Why stay with a loser? Why waste time on someone who has nothing to offer? The video ended there. Michael sat in the back of the car, staring at the blank screen. Tears ran down his face. We were rivals, not friends. Those words cut deeper than any insult. Because Reggie actually believed them. And he believed that their battles, their mutual respect, their late-night conversations in empty arenas, that none of it meant anything. He believed Michael didn't care about him. And maybe Reggie was right to believe that. Because Michael hadn't called, hadn't checked in, hadn't been there when Reggie's world fell apart. The car pulled up to Detroit Memorial Hospital. The driver opened Michael's door. Sir, we're here. Michael wiped his eyes quickly. He straightened his jacket. He took a deep breath. Somewhere inside this building, Reggie Thorne was waiting. The man who'd pushed Michael to be better. The man who'd never given up, even when he had every reason to quit. The man who'd been abandoned by everyone he loved. Michael reached into his pocket and touched that half medal. The friendship token from 1989. Before the fame, before the money, before everything got complicated. Just two kids who loved basketball, who made each other better. That friendship was real, Michael whispered to himself. It mattered then. It matters now. But would Reggie believe that? Would he accept help from the man who represented everything he'd lost? Success, wealth, respect? Michael didn't know, but he had to try. He stepped out of the car and walked toward the hospital entrance. Behind him, still on the tablet in the car, was one final document, a phone log from 2015. It showed Reggie calling Michael's number 3 times. The calls lasted 15 seconds each, just long enough for voicemail to pick up. Reggie had reached out. He'd tried to ask for help, and Michael had been too busy to answer. If Michael had seen that document, it would have destroyed him. But he didn't see it. Not yet. He walked into the hospital, determined to fix everything, not knowing that Reggie's pride might be the one thing money couldn't solve. The hospital smelled like cleaning chemicals and sadness. Michael walked through the hallways, his shoes squeaking on the shiny floors. Nurses rushed past him. Doctors talked in quiet voices. Somewhere, a machine beeped steadily. Michael wore a simple black hoodie and a baseball cap pulled low. He didn't want attention. Not today. Today wasn't about Michael Jordan, the celebrity. Today was about Michael Jordan, the friend. If Reggie would even see him as a friend anymore. "Can I help you?" a nurse asked at the front desk. "I'm here to see Reggie Thorne," Michael said quietly. The nurse checked her computer. "Are you family?" Michael paused. What was he? A friend? A rival? A stranger who should have been there years ago? "I'm Michael Jordan. The nurse, Kimberly Davis, she called me." The nurse's eyes went wide. "Oh, Mr. Jordan. Yes. Nurse Davis told us you might come. Mr. Thorne is in room 304. Third floor. Take a left off the elevator." "How is he?" Michael asked. The nurse's expression grew sad. "Better than yesterday. His back is healing. His heart is stable. But—" She stopped, choosing her words carefully. "The physical problems are fixable, Mr. Jordan. The other problems, those are harder." Michael understood. She meant the hopelessness, the shame, the broken spirit. "Thank you," Michael said. He took the elevator to the third floor. His heart pounded harder with each floor that passed. What would he say? How do you talk to someone after so many years of silence? But the elevator doors opened. Michael stepped out and turned left. Room 301, room 302, room 303, room 304. Michael stood outside the door. His hand reached for the handle, then stopped. Through the small window, he could see inside. Reggie sat in the hospital bed, staring out the window. He looked so different from the warrior Michael remembered. Reggie's face was thin, with deep lines around his eyes and mouth. His hair was mostly gray now. His shoulders, once strong and proud, seemed smaller somehow. Defeated. But it was still Reggie. Still the man who'd made Michael work harder than anyone else. Still the competitor who never gave up. Michael took a deep breath and knocked softly. "Come in," Reggie's voice called. It sounded tired and rough, like someone who hadn't really talked to anyone in a long time. But Michael opened the door and stepped inside. Reggie was looking at the door, expecting a nurse or doctor. When he saw Michael, his entire body went stiff. His eyes went wide. His mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. For a long moment, neither man moved. They just stared at each other. "Mike?" Reggie finally whispered. His voice cracked on the name. "Hey, Reg," Michael said softly. Reggie's face went through so many emotions. Surprise, confusion, hope, and then something that looked like pain. He turned his head away, facing the window again. "You shouldn't have come," Reggie said. His voice was harder now, building walls. "You shouldn't see me like this." Michael walked further into the room. He pulled a chair close to the bed and sat down, even though Reggie wasn't looking at him. "Nurse Davis called me," Michael said. "Says she was worried about you." She had no right. Reggie's hands gripped the blanket tightly. "I told her not to call you." "I'm glad she did." "Why?" Reggie turned back suddenly, and now Michael could see anger in his eyes. Not the competitive fire from the basketball court. This was different, darker. The anger of someone who'd been hurt too many times. "Why are you glad, Mike? You want to see how far the mighty have fallen? You want to feel better about your perfect life?" "That's not fair," Michael said quietly. "Fair?" Reggie laughed, but there was no joy in it. "Nothing about this is fair. You get to fly here in your private jet, wearing expensive clothes, coming from your mansion. And I'm here, in a hospital bed. Charity case, complete failure. You're not a failure." "Really?" Reggie's voice got louder. "See, because that's exactly what I am. I had everything, Mike. Everything. And I lost it all. Every single penny. Do you know what that feels like? To go from millions to nothing? Michael stayed calm. No, I don't know what that feels like. But I know what betrayal feels like. I know what it's like when people you trust let you down. It's not the same, Reggie said, but some of the anger drained from his voice. Maybe not, Michael admitted. But pain is pain, Reg. And you're in pain. I can see it. Reggie turned away again. When he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. How long have you been living in your car? The question hung in the air. Reggie's shoulders started shaking slightly. 2 years, Reggie said. Maybe 3. I stopped counting after a while. Michael felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. Reggie! I work at a car wash on Jefferson Avenue, Reggie continued, his voice empty and hollow. They pay me cash under the table, $15 an hour. Sometimes people recognize me. Hey, aren't you Reggie Thorne, the basketball player? They take pictures, they laugh, then they leave without tipping. Reg, please. I eat at the soup kitchen on Tuesday and Thursday. That's when they serve the good meals. The rest of the week, I buy dollar sandwiches from the gas station. I shower at the YMCA. I sleep in my car in the parking lot of a closed shopping mall. That's my life now, Mike. That's what I've become. Michael's throat felt tight. His eyes burned with tears he was fighting to hold back. Why didn't you call me? Michael asked. Why didn't you reach out? Reggie finally looked at him. Really looked at him. And Michael saw something that broke his heart. Shame. Deep, crushing shame. Call you, Reggie said. And say what? Hey, Mike, remember me? Your old rival? Yeah, I'm broke and desperate. Can you spare some change? How could I do that? How could I call the most successful basketball player in history and admit that I'm living in a 1997 Honda Civic? Because we were friends, Michael said. Were we? Reggie asked. The question sounded genuinely confused. Were we really friends, Mike? Or were we just two guys who competed against each other? When the games ended, when you retired, when I retired, we stopped talking. You didn't call. I didn't call. That's not friendship. That's just business. That's not true, Michael protested. Isn't it? Reggie's eyes were wet now, tears forming but not falling. When's the last time we talked before today? Really talked? Michael thought back. 1998, after the finals. 26 years ago, Reggie said. 26 years, Mike. You had my number, I had yours, but neither of us picked up the phone. Michael had no answer for that. Because Reggie was right. They hadn't called. They hadn't stayed in touch. Life had moved forward, and they'd let their connection fade away. I'm sorry, Michael said. The words felt small and useless, but they were all he had. Reggie wiped his eyes roughly. Don't apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. You lived your life. I lived mine. That's how it works. But if I had known, you would have what? Reggie interrupted. Sent money? Felt sorry for me? That would have been worse, Mike. At least now I have my dignity. Well, what's left of it? Michael leaned forward. Reggie, listen to me. I came here because I care about you. Not because I pity you. Not because I want to show off. Because you mattered to me. You still matter to me. Reggie shook his head. You don't understand. When I collapsed last week, you know where I was? At a free basketball clinic I volunteer at, teaching kids how to play defense. One of the kids asked me, Mr. Thorne, if you were so good at basketball, why are you poor? You know what I told him? I said, because I was stupid and trusted the wrong people. An 8-year-old kid, Mike. I had to explain my failure to an 8-year-old. Michael's hands were clenched into fists now. Not at Reggie. at Vincent Caruso, at the world, at himself for not being there. "What happened to Vincent?" Michael asked. Reggie's face went dark. "They never found him. He's probably on a beach somewhere, spending my money, laughing at how easy it was. The police said they traced him to the Cayman Islands. Then the trail went cold. He's gone. And my money went with him. There has to be something we can do. Lawyers, investigators." "I tried all that," Reggie said wearily. "Spent 3 years fighting. Hired lawyers I couldn't afford. Chased shadows across the world. Found nothing. Vincent was smart. He hid everything perfectly. The money is gone, Mike. It's never coming back." A nurse came in to check Reggie's blood pressure. She worked quietly, giving the two men privacy. When she left, the silence felt heavy. "My back gave out last week," Reggie said, changing the subject. "Years of playing basketball, years of sleeping in a car seat, and it finally said, enough. I was showing kids how to do a defensive slide. Then everything went white. Next thing I knew, I was here." "The nurse said you have no insurance." Reggie laughed bitterly. "Insurance costs money, Mike. I barely make enough for food. How am I supposed to afford insurance?" Michael pulled out his phone. "I'm paying for everything. The hospital bills, the treatment, all of it." "No." Reggie's voice was sharp and firm. "Reggie." "No, Mike. I won't accept charity from you." "It's not charity, it's—" "What is it then?" Reggie demanded. "Friendship? Where was this friendship for the last 26 years? Where was it when Diana left me? Where was it when my mother died? Where was it when I was sleeping in my car during winter, freezing, wondering if I'd wake up in the morning?" The words hit Michael like physical blows. Each one was true. Each one hurt. "You're right," Michael said quietly. "I wasn't there. I should have been, but I wasn't. And I can't change that. But I'm here now, Reg. I'm here now, and I want to help. I don't need your help. Yes, you do. And that's okay. Needing help doesn't make you weak." Reggie turned away again, staring out the window. Michael could see his shoulders shaking. He was crying now, quietly, trying to hide it. "I used to be somebody," Reggie whispered. "I used to matter. Kids wore my jersey. Fans chanted my name. I had a championship ring. I had respect. Now I'm just the guy who lost everything, the cautionary tale, the failure." Michael stood up and walked to the window, standing beside the bed where Reggie could see him. "See, you're still somebody," Michael said firmly. "You're still the man who made me earn every single point. You're still the defender who never quit. You're still the competitor who pushed himself to the limit every single game. Money doesn't define who you are, Reggie. It never did. Easy for you to say when you have billions." "Is it?" Michael's voice got stronger. "You think money solved all my problems? You think being rich made me happy? I've had people sue me over nothing. I've had friends betray me for money. I've had relationships fall apart because people only saw the brand, not the man. Money makes life easier in some ways, Reg. But it doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it meaningful." Reggie looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time since Michael arrived. "Then what does make it meaningful?" Reggie asked. But his voice sounded young suddenly, vulnerable, like the kid Michael remembered from 1989. Michael reached into his pocket. He pulled out his keychain and held it up. Dangling from it was that half medal, the cheap silver token from 35 years ago. Reggie's eyes widened. "You still have that?" "Every day," Michael said. "I carry it every single day." Reggie's hand slowly reached for his own wallet on the bedside table. His fingers shook as he opened it. There, tucked behind his expired driver's license, was the other half of the medal. Bent. Scratched. But still there. "I kept mine too," Reggie whispered. They both stared at the two pieces of that broken medal. Together, they'd be whole. Separated, they were just fragments. "We were always connected, Reg," Michael said softly. "Through every game, every rivalry, every year apart. Just this medal? It meant something then. It still means something now." Reggie picked up his half with trembling fingers. "Why did we stop talking, Mike? Really? What happened to us?" Michael sat back down, holding his half of the medal. "Life happened. Success happened. Pride happened. We both got so busy being great that we forgot to be friends." "I missed you," Reggie said suddenly. The admission seemed to surprise even him. "All these years, through everything, I missed having someone who understood the pressure, the expectations, what it felt like to give everything and wonder if it was enough." "I missed you too," Michael said, and he meant it. He hadn't realized how much until this moment. They sat in silence for a while. Not an awkward silence, a comfortable one. Like two old friends who didn't need words to understand each other. Finally, Reggie spoke. "I can't let you pay my bills, Mike." "Reggie!" "But," Reggie continued, maybe we could talk, like we used to. Remember those nights after games, just sitting in empty arenas, talking about life?" "I remember," Michael said, smiling. "I'd like that again," Reggie said quietly. "Even if I can't accept your money, I'd like my friend back." Michael felt tears running down his face now. He didn't try to hide them. "You never lost me, Reg. I was always here. I just didn't realize you needed me to show it." Reggie reached out his hand. Michael took it. They held on tight. Two warriors who'd battled each other for years, finally understanding what they'd really been fighting for all along. Not to beat each other, but to bring out the best in each other. A nurse poked her head in. "Mr. Thorne, to visiting hours end in 10 minutes. Michael nodded, but didn't let go of Reggie's hand yet. "I'm staying in Detroit for a while," Michael said. "I'm going to come back tomorrow. And the day after that, and the day after that. We've got 26 years to catch up on." "Mike, I told you, I can't accept—" "I'm not asking you to accept anything except my friendship," Michael said. "That's all. Just let me be your friend again." Reggie's eyes filled with tears again, but this time they looked different, less painful, more hopeful. "Okay," Reggie whispered. "Okay, friend." Michael stood to leave. As he walked toward the door, Reggie called out, "Mike?" Michael turned back. "Thank you," Reggie said, "for coming, for remembering." Michael smiled. "I never forgot, Reg. Not for a single day." He walked out of the room, leaving Reggie alone with his thoughts. In the hallway, Michael leaned against the wall and finally let himself cry. Really cry. For the years lost. For the pain Reggie had suffered alone. For the friendship that had almost died, but somehow, miraculously, still had a heartbeat. His phone buzzed. His assistant, Patricia. "Mr. Jordan, the lawyers are ready. They've prepared documents for the financial assistance package you requested." Michael looked back at Reggie's door. He thought about what Reggie had said. About pride, about dignity, about not wanting to be a charity case. Forcing help on Reggie wouldn't work. It would only push him further away. But there had to be another way. A way that respected Reggie's pride, while still giving him what he needed. Michael just had to figure out what that way was. "Thank you. To Patricia," Michael said. "But hold off on those documents for now. I need to think about this differently." He hung up and stared at the half medal in his hand. 2 broken pieces. Separate, they were incomplete. Together, they were whole. Maybe that was the answer. Not Michael saving Reggie, but Michael and Reggie saving each other. Michael walked toward the elevator, his mind already forming a plan. A plan that would shock everyone who heard it. A plan that would change both their lives forever. But first, he needed to understand something. He needed to know exactly how bad things had gotten for Reggie. And he needed to know if Reggie's pride would allow him to accept help, even help disguised as something else. Michael sat in his hotel room that night, unable to sleep. The city lights of Detroit glowed through the window. Somewhere out there was a parking lot where Reggie had slept in his car for 2 years. Somewhere out there was a car wash where a champion worked for $15 an hour. Michael picked up his phone and made a call. "Marcus, I need you to gather my team, everyone, lawyers, accountants, PR people. I need them on a video call in 1 hour." His business manager, Marcus Chen, sounded confused. "Sir, it's 11 o'clock at night." "I don't care what time it is. 1 hour. This is important." Michael hung up and walked to the window. He held the half medal up to the light, watching it shine. "How do I help you, Reg?" he whispered to himself. "How do I help you without making you feel small?" His mind raced through possibilities. Just give Reggie money? No. Reggie would refuse. Pay his bills secretly? No. Reggie would find out and feel betrayed. Offer him a job out of pity? No. That would destroy what was left of Reggie's pride. It had to be something different, something real, something that let Reggie feel like an equal, not a charity case. Michael's phone rang. It was his daughter, Jasmine. "Dad, Marcus called me. He said you're having an emergency meeting about something in Detroit. Is everything okay?" Michael smiled. His daughter always worried about him. "Everything's fine, baby girl. I'm just helping an old friend." "What friend?" "Reggie Thorne. Do you remember me talking about him?" There was a pause. "The defender? The one you said made you better?" "That's the one." "What happened to him?" Michael sat down on the bed. "Life happened. Bad things. He lost everything, Jasmine. And I wasn't there for him. But I'm going to fix that now." "How?" That was the question, wasn't it? How? "I'm still figuring that out," Michael admitted. "But I will. I have to." "Dad," Jasmine said gently, "be careful. Sometimes when people are hurt, they push away the help they need most. Don't let your ego get in the way of actually helping him." Michael blinked. His daughter was right. This wasn't about Michael feeling better about himself. This wasn't about Michael being the hero. This was about what Reggie actually needed. "When did you get so smart?" Michael asked. "I learned from the best," Jasmine laughed. "Good luck, Dad. I love you." "Love you too, baby." 1 hour later, Michael's laptop screen showed 12 faces. His legal team, his business advisors, his PR specialists. They all looked tired and confused. "Thank you for joining me," Michael started. "Soon I'm going to tell you a story. And then I'm going to ask for your help with something important." He told them about Reggie, about their rivalry, about the friendship that got lost, about Vincent Caruso's betrayal, about the car and the car wash and the hospital bed. As he spoke, he saw their expressions change. Some looked sad, some looked angry. All of them looked like they wanted to help. "So here's what I'm thinking," Michael said. "I want to create a fund, a real fund with a real purpose, not just for Reggie, but for all retired athletes who've been taken advantage of, athletes who trusted the wrong people, athletes who lost everything through no fault of their own." His head lawyer, David Kim, leaned forward. "Like a charitable foundation?" More than that, Michael said. His voice grew stronger as the idea took shape. Oh, I want to call it the Legends Support Fund. It'll provide financial assistance, yes, but also job training, financial education, mental health counseling, everything that retired athletes need when they transition out of sports. His accountant, Lisa Rodriguez, was taking notes. How much are you thinking of investing? Michael didn't hesitate. $10 million to start. More if we need it. The screen erupted with voices. $10 million was a huge commitment. Michael raised his hand. Let me finish. Reggie Thorne will be the first person this fund helps. But here's the important part. I want to offer him a job. A real job, not a fake one. Community Outreach Director for the Charlotte Hornets. Marcus Chen spoke up. Michael, that's a real position. We actually need someone for that role. But, will Reggie think you're just creating a job for him? That's why it has to be real, Michael said firmly. Reggie knows basketball. He knows struggle. He knows what it's like to fail and get back up. Who better to reach out to kids in our community? Who better to talk to young athletes about making smart financial decisions? Sarah Park, his PR director, was nodding slowly. This could be really powerful, Michael, but we need to handle it carefully. If it looks like you're showing off or making Reggie into a charity case, it'll backfire. It could hurt him more than help. I know, Michael said. That's why I need your advice. How do I do this right? They talked for 2 hours. They discussed every angle, every possibility, every way it could go wrong. Finally, they had a plan. And David Kim summarized it. We announced the Legends Support Fund at a press conference. We explained the mission, helping retired athletes who've been financially exploited. We make it clear this isn't just about Reggie. It's about a systemic problem in sports. Then we offer Reggie the job, publicly, as the perfect person to lead the community outreach because he's lived the struggle. And if he refuses? Michael asked. Then we respect his decision, Sarah said. We can't force help on him. All we can do is offer it with dignity and let him choose. Michael nodded slowly. It was a good plan. But it all depended on one thing, whether Reggie would accept. Set up the press conference for 3 days from now, Michael said. That gives me time to talk to Reggie first, to prepare him, to make sure he understands this isn't pity. The meeting ended. Michael closed his laptop and sat in the dark hotel room, thinking. His phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Mr. Jordan, this is Nurse Kimberly Davis. I wanted you to know, Mr. Thorne had a better night tonight. He actually smiled when he talked about your visit. Whatever you said to him, it helped. Thank you. Michael's eyes filled with tears. Reggie had smiled. When was the last time Reggie had smiled? Really smiled. He texted back, "Thank you for taking care of him. And thank you for calling me." Michael lay down on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow he'd visit Reggie again. Tomorrow he'd start preparing him for what was coming. Tomorrow he'd begin making things right. But tonight, he let himself remember. Flashback. 1989. Olympic training camp. A young Michael and young Reggie were roommates, both trying to make the Olympic team. They were 19 years old, full of dreams and confidence. After a brutal practice, they'd stopped at a gas station for snacks. While paying, Reggie noticed a display of cheap toys and trinkets. One item caught his eye, a best friends medal on a thin chain. It was probably worth $2. "Look at this garbage," Reggie laughed, picking it up. "Best friends forever. Who buys this stuff?" "Apparently, we do," young Michael said, grinning. He grabbed the medal and broke it in half with his hands. He gave one half to Reggie. "Here, One day we'll be the best players in the world. This'll remind us where we started. Best enemies or best friends? Reggie asked, pocketing his half. Why not both? Michael said. They'd laughed about it then. The two cocky teenagers who thought they'd conquer the world, and they had conquered it. Just not together. Back to the present. Michael woke up at dawn. He showered, dressed, and headed back to the hospital. He needed to see Reggie before making any big announcements. When he arrived at room 304, Reggie was awake, eating breakfast. He looked better today. Less gray, less defeated. "Morning," Michael said from the doorway. Reggie looked up and smiled slightly. Actually smiled. "Morning, Mike. You came back." "I said I would." Michael pulled up the chair. "How are you feeling?" "Better. The doctor says my back is healing. I might be able to leave in a few days." Reggie paused. "But I don't know where I'll go. My car got towed from the hospital parking lot. Can't afford to get it out of impound." Michael's heart clenched. But he kept his voice calm. "We'll figure something out. But first, I need to talk to you about something important." Reggie put down his fork. "Mike, if this is about money..." "It's not. Not directly. Just hear me out. Please." Reggie nodded slowly. Michael took a breath and began. "When I left here yesterday, I couldn't stop thinking. About you. About all the other players who got taken advantage of. About how the system failed so many athletes. And I realized something. I can't just help you and walk away. This is bigger than us." "What do you mean?" "I'm creating a foundation, the Legends Support Fund. It'll help retired athletes who've been financially exploited. Healthcare, housing, job training, counseling, everything they need to rebuild their lives." Reggie's expression was unreadable. That's good, Mike. Really good." "You'd be the first person it helps," Michael continued carefully. "Medical bills, getting you back on your feet, all of it." Reggie's face hardened. "Mike, I told you." "But," Michael interrupted, "I don't want this to be one-sided. I don't want you to feel like a charity case, so I'm offering you a job. A real job." Reggie blinked. "What?" "Community Outreach Director for the Charlotte Hornets. It's a real position. We actually need someone. The salary is $85,000 a year, plus benefits. You'd work with kids in the community, teach them about basketball and making smart life choices. You'd speak at schools, run clinics, be a mentor." Reggie just stared at him. Michael pushed forward. "Nobody knows struggle better than you, Reg. Nobody knows the consequences of trusting the wrong people better than you. You could save kids from making the same mistakes. You could actually change lives." "You're creating a job for me," Reggie said flatly. "No," Michael said firmly. "I'm offering you a job that needs to be done. If you say no, I'll have to hire someone else. But they won't be as good as you. They won't have your experience, your knowledge, your story." Reggie looked down at his hands. "My story is about failure, Mike." "Your story is about survival," Michael corrected. "It's about someone who lost everything but kept going anyway, who volunteered at free clinics even when he had nothing, who taught kids for free even when he was sleeping in his car. That's not failure, Reg. That's heroism." Reggie's eyes were wet. "Don't make me into something I'm not." "I'm not. I'm just seeing what you can't see. That you still matter, that you still have value, that your story could help people." They sat in silence. A long, heavy silence. Finally, Reggie spoke. "I don't want people to know about the car, about how bad it got. I don't want to be the cautionary tale." "You don't have to share anything you don't want to share," Michael said. This is your story. You control how much you tell. And this job, it's real? Not you feeling sorry for me? Real as it gets. I'll give you the job description. You can talk to our current community outreach team. They'll tell you how much work it actually is. If you take this job, Reg, you'll earn every penny. It won't be easy. Reggie laughed slightly. I've been sleeping in a car and washing cars for 2 years. I think I can handle some hard work. Michael smiled. So, is that a yes? Reggie hesitated. Michael could see the war happening behind his eyes. Pride fighting with practicality. Shame fighting with hope. Can I think about it? Reggie asked quietly. Of course. Take all the time you need. But Reg, there's one more thing. What? I'm holding a press conference in 3 days. I'm announcing the Legends Support Fund. I'm going to talk about why I created it, what it does, and I'm going to offer you the job. Publicly. Reggie's eyes widened. Mike, no. People will know. People will know that you're strong enough to accept help, Michael said. People will know that even legends need support sometimes. People will know that there's no shame in falling down, only in not getting back up. The press will tear me apart. Some will, Michael admitted, but some will see you as brave, as human, as someone who could help their kids avoid the same mistakes. Reggie ran his hands through his gray hair. This is crazy, Mike. You're talking about putting me in front of the whole world. I'm talking about giving you a platform, a voice, a purpose. Michael leaned forward. You've been hiding for years, Reg. Hiding from the shame, from the judgment, from the pity. But what if you stopped hiding? What if you stood up and said, yes, I failed. Yes, I lost everything. But I survived. And I can help others survive too. Imagine how powerful that would be. Reggie closed his eyes. I'm scared, Mike. I know, but you don't have to do this alone. I'll be right there with you, every step. Why? Reggie asked, opening his eyes. Why are you doing all this? Really? Michael pulled out his half medal again. Because 35 years ago, 2 kids made a promise to make each other better, to push each other to be great. We kept that promise on the basketball court. But then we stopped. We let life pull us apart. And I regret that, Reg. I regret every day that I didn't pick up the phone. Every day I didn't check on you. I can't change the past. But I can change right now. Starting today. Reggie pulled out his own half medal from his wallet. They held them up, the 2 pieces side by side. We were supposed to be great together, Reggie whispered. We still can be, Michael said. Just differently. Not on the court. In life. Helping people. Making a difference. A tear rolled down Reggie's cheek. I don't know if I'm strong enough for this, Mike. Yes, you are. You're the strongest person I know. You survived betrayal, loss, grief, homelessness, and you never gave up. And that's strength, Reg. Real strength. Reggie wiped his eyes. If I do this, if I take the job and do the press conference, I need you to promise me something. Anything. Promise me this is real friendship. Not pity, not guilt. Real friendship. Because I can't handle another betrayal, Mike. I can't handle someone pretending to care and then disappearing when things get hard. Michael reached out and grabbed Reggie's hand. I promise you, Reggie Thorne, on my life, on my children's lives, on every championship I ever won, this is real. You are my friend. You always were, even when we weren't talking. And I'm not going anywhere, not this time. Reggie squeezed his hand back. Fresh tears ran down both their faces. Okay, Reggie said, his voice shaking. Okay, I'll do it. I'll take the job. I'll do the press conference. I'll try. Michael felt like his heart might burst. That's all anyone can ask. Just try. They sat there, holding hands, two old warriors finally understanding what they'd been fighting for all along. Not to beat each other, but to lift each other up. A nurse knocked and entered. "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt." "It's okay," Reggie said, wiping his eyes quickly. "Come in." The nurse checked his vitals, smiling at the two men. "You have a good friend, Mr. Thorne." Reggie looked at Michael and smiled. Really smiled, for the first time in years. "Yeah," Reggie said softly. "Yeah, I really do." 3 days later, press conference. Michael stood at a podium in front of dozens of reporters and cameras. Lights flashed. Microphones were everywhere, and the room buzzed with confused energy. Nobody knew why Michael Jordan had called an emergency press conference. Michael wore a simple black suit. No flashy jewelry, no sunglasses, just him speaking from the heart. He took a breath and began. "Thank you all for coming. I'm not here to talk about basketball today. I'm here to talk about something more important, taking care of our legends." The room went quiet. Most of you know me as a basketball player, a businessman, a competitor. Today, I'm here as a friend. Reggie Thorne was one of the greatest defenders to ever play the game. Reporters started whispering, "Reggie Thorne? Where was this going?" "Reggie made me work harder than anyone else," Michael continued. "He pushed me to 6 championships because I never wanted to lose to him. He was my rival, my challenger, my friend." Michael paused, emotion flooding his face. Reggie lost everything through no fault of his own. He was betrayed by people he trusted. He suffered in silence for years because he was too proud to ask for help. And I was too blind to see he needed it. The cameras flashed faster. Reporters leaned forward. "That ends today. I'm establishing the Legends Support Fund with an initial investment of $10 million. The room erupted. Reporters shouted questions. Michael raised his hand. "This fund will help retired athletes who've fallen on hard times. Healthcare, housing, job training, financial counseling, mental health support, everything they need to rebuild their lives with dignity." More flashing cameras, more shouting. "Reggie Thorne will be the first person this fund helps. We're covering his medical expenses. We're getting him stable housing. And I'm offering him a job with the Charlotte Hornets as our community outreach director, if he wants it." A reporter called out, "Is this just about helping one friend?" "No," Michael said firmly. "This is about fixing a systemic problem. Too many athletes get taken advantage of by managers, agents, and people they trust. Too many athletes retire without proper financial education. Too many athletes suffer alone because they're ashamed to ask for help. This fund will change that." Another reporter. "Where is Reggie Thorne now?" Michael's expression softened. "He'll be here in a moment. He wanted me to speak first, but more importantly, I want to say something to him directly." Michael looked at the camera, knowing Reggie was watching from the back room. "Reggie, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't there when you needed me, but I'm sorry I let our friendship fade. I'm sorry I didn't see that you were struggling. But I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. You made me a better player. Now let me help you be the person you're meant to be. A mentor, a leader, a legend who shows others how to survive and thrive." Michael's voice cracked. "You once told me, we make each other better. You were right. We do. We did. And we will again. So please, Reggie, come out here. Stand with me. Let's show the world what real friendship looks like." The room went completely silent. The door at the back opened. Reggie Thorne walked out. Reggie walked slowly toward the stage. He wore a simple gray suit that Michael's team had bought for him. His hair was cut and neat. His face was clean-shaven, but his hands trembled slightly as he moved. Every camera in the room turned toward him. Flashes exploded like lightning. Reporters whispered urgently to each other. Some looked shocked. Some looked confused. A few looked moved by what they were seeing. Reggie climbed the 3 steps to the stage. Each step seemed to take enormous effort, not because his body was weak, but because his heart was pounding so hard he could barely breathe. Michael met him at the top of the stairs. Their eyes locked. For a moment, nothing else existed. Not the cameras, not the reporters, not the world watching. Just 2 old friends, standing together after years of silence. Michael extended his hand. Reggie looked at it. Then, instead of shaking it, he pulled Michael into a tight hug. The room erupted. Cameras flashed so fast it looked like a strobe light. Reporters started shouting questions all at once, but neither man moved, and they just held on to each other, 2 warriors who had finally found their way back home. When they finally separated, both had tears in their eyes. Michael stepped aside, giving Reggie space at the microphone. "The floor is yours, Reg." Reggie looked out at the sea of faces and cameras. His throat felt tight. His stomach churned. Part of him wanted to run away, to hide, to go back to being invisible. But then he felt Michael's hand on his shoulder. Steady, strong. There. Reggie cleared his throat and leaned toward the microphone. "My name is Reggie Thorne," he began. His voice was shaky at first. "Some of you remember me from the NBA. Some of you probably forgot I existed. And honestly, I tried to make sure you'd forget." He paused, gathering strength. 6 years ago, I lost everything. My best friend, my manager Vincent Caruso, stole $47 million from me. Every penny I ever made. He vanished, and my life vanished with him. The room was dead silent now. Every reporter hung on his words. My fiancée left me. My friends disappeared. I lost my house, my cars, everything. I spent my last savings taking care of my mother while she died of cancer. And when she was gone, I had nothing left. Not money, not family, not hope. Reggie's voice grew stronger, more honest. For the past 2 years, I've been living in my car. A 1997 Honda Civic, with a broken heater and a seat that doesn't recline. I worked at a car wash making $15 an hour. I ate at soup kitchens. I showered at the YMCA. I was homeless, broken, invisible. Some reporters were crying now. Others were writing furiously, capturing every word. Last week, I collapsed while volunteering at a free basketball clinic. I woke up in a hospital with no insurance, no emergency contact, no one to call. The only thing in my wallet was an old business card from 1998. Michael Jordan's card, worn and faded, but still there. Reggie turned to look at Michael. I never threw it away, even when I lost everything else. Even when I told myself that we were just rivals, not friends. Even when I convinced myself that nobody cared about me, I kept that card. Because deep down, I knew that what we had was real. Michael's tears were flowing freely now. Reggie turned back to the reporters. When the nurse called Michael, I begged her not to. I didn't want him to see me like this. I didn't want anyone to see me like this. I was ashamed, embarrassed, and I thought my life was a complete failure. His voice grew firmer, more powerful, but Michael came anyway. He sat in that hospital room and reminded me of something I'd forgotten, that I still matter, that my value isn't measured by my bank account, that my story, as painful as it is, could help other people. Reggie gripped the podium, his knuckles turning white. So, here's what I want to say to everyone watching. If you're struggling, if you've lost everything, if you feel alone and ashamed and invisible, you're not. You matter. Your life has value. And asking for help isn't weakness. It's courage. A reporter in the front row wiped her eyes. "I'm accepting Michael's offer," Reggie continued. "Not because I need charity, but because I can make a difference. I can help young athletes avoid what happened to me. I can teach them about bad contracts and fake friends and the importance of financial education. I can show them that failure isn't the end. It's just a chapter." He paused, taking a deep breath. "But I want to make something very clear." Reggie's voice turned serious. "What happened to me wasn't just about one bad person. Vincent Caruso stole from me, yes, but the system failed me too. Nobody taught me how to protect my money. Nobody warned me about predators who see athletes as cash machines. Nobody prepared me for life after basketball." Reggie pointed at the cameras. "There are hundreds of former athletes out there right now, suffering in silence, bankrupt, depressed. Some are homeless like I was. Some have died by suicide because they couldn't handle the shame. This has to stop. The Legends Support Fund is a start, but we need more. And we need the NBA, the NFL, all professional sports to take responsibility for preparing athletes for life after the game." The reporters were nodding, some taking notes, others just listening with tears in their eyes. "And to the kids out there who dream of being professional athletes," Reggie said, his voice softening. "Dream big, work hard, but also be smart. Learn about money. Don't trust blindly. And remember, your career will end someday. Maybe from injury, maybe from age, but it will end. Make sure you're ready for what comes next." Reggie stepped back from the microphone, exhausted but somehow lighter, like he'd been carrying a heavy weight for years and had finally set it down. Michael stepped forward. "We'll take a few questions now." A reporter raised her hand. "Mr. Jordan, why now? Why didn't you help Reggie years ago?" Michael's face showed pain. "Because I didn't know. Because I was too busy with my own life. Because I assumed Reggie was fine. I failed him as a friend, and I own that. But I'm here now, and I'm committed to making sure this never happens again. Not to Reggie, not to anyone." Another reporter. "Mr. Thorne, how do you feel about accepting help from your former rival?" Reggie thought about the question. Then he smiled, a real, genuine smile. "Mike was never just my rival," Reggie said. "He was my mirror. He showed me what I could become if I worked hard enough, and now he's showing me what real friendship looks like. I'm grateful, not ashamed. Grateful." A reporter near the back called out, "What happened to Vincent Caruso? Will there be legal action?" Reggie's expression darkened. "Vincent disappeared, and the police searched for years. They traced him to the Cayman Islands. Then the trail went cold. My lawyers say the money is probably gone forever, hidden in offshore accounts we'll never find." He paused, then continued, "But you know what? I don't care anymore. I spent years being angry, being bitter, letting that anger poison me. Vincent took my money, but I won't let him take my future. I'm done looking backward. I'm ready to move forward." Michael squeezed Reggie's shoulder, showing support. Another reporter asked, "Mr. Thorne, what do you want people to remember from today?" Reggie was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then he spoke from his heart. "I want people to remember that we all need help sometimes. Rich people, poor people, famous people, normal people, everyone struggles. Everyone falls down. And the difference is whether you have people around you who will help you get back up. He looked at Michael. I thought I had nobody. I thought I was completely alone. But I was wrong. I had a friend. I just didn't know it yet. Michael's voice was thick with emotion. You were never alone, Reg. You were never alone. The press conference ended shortly after. Reporters rushed out to file their stories. Within minutes, the news spread across the country, across the world. Michael Jordan creates $10 million. Fund to help broke athletes. Reggie Thorne's shocking story. From champion to homeless. Two rivals reunite after 26 years. Their friendship will make you cry. Social media exploded. Some people praised Michael for his generosity. Some criticized him for not helping sooner. Some shared their own stories of financial hardship and betrayal. But most people focused on the friendship. On the image of two men hugging on stage, tears in their eyes, holding each other up after years apart. Later that evening, a quiet restaurant in Detroit. Michael and Reggie sat in a private booth, away from cameras and crowds. They'd ordered food but barely touched it. They just sat, talking, catching up on 26 years of life. I watched your press conference from 2019, Michael said quietly. The one where you said you had no real friends. Reggie winced. I was in a dark place then. I believed it at the time. Why didn't you call me, Reg? Really? What stopped you? Reggie set down his fork and looked at Michael honestly. Pride, fear, shame, all of it. But mostly, I didn't think you'd remember me, and I didn't think I mattered to you. You always mattered. I know that now, Reggie said. But back then, I was nobody. You were Michael Jordan, billionaire, legend, icon. What was I? A washed-up player living in his car? Why would someone like you care about someone like me? Michael leaned forward. Because friendship isn't about what you have. It's about who you are. And you, Reggie Thorne, are one of the most genuine, hard-working, honorable people I've ever known. Reggie's eyes got misty. Thank you for saying that. I'm not just saying it, I mean it. They ate in comfortable silence for a while. Then Reggie asked the question that had been on his mind all day. What happens now, Mike? Really? The press conference was inspiring and all, but what comes next? Michael pulled out a folder. This is your employment contract. Real salary, your real benefits, real expectations. You'll start in 2 weeks. That gives you time to get settled, find an apartment, get back on your feet. Reggie opened the folder and read through it. The salary was fair, not charity, but not insulting either. The responsibilities were clear. Working with kids, running clinics, speaking at schools, mentoring young athletes. This is really real, Reggie whispered. Did you think I was lying? No, Reggie shook his head. I've been living in survival mode for so long, just trying to make it through each day. The idea of having a purpose again, of mattering again, it's overwhelming. You never stopped mattering, Reg. You just stopped believing you did. Reggie closed the folder. I'm going to work hard, Mike. I'm going to earn every penny, and I'm going to make you proud. You already make me proud. They finished their meal, talking about old games, old teammates, old memories. Some stories made them laugh, some made them sad. All of them reminded them of what they'd lost and what they were rebuilding. As they left the restaurant, a young boy recognized them. He was maybe 10 years old, wearing a basketball jersey. Mr. Jordan! Mr. Thorne! The boy called out, running over with his mother following behind. Can we get a picture? The mother asked shyly. Of course, Michael said. The boy stood between them, grinning. After the picture, he looked up at Reggie. "Mr. Thorne, I saw you on TV today. You were really brave." Reggie knelt down to the boy's level. "Thank you. What's your name?" "Marcus." "Well, Marcus, let me tell you something important. Not being brave doesn't mean never being scared. It means being scared but doing the right thing anyway. You remember that, okay?" The boy nodded seriously. "I will." As the mother and son walked away, Reggie stood up slowly. He looked shaken. "You okay?" Michael asked. "That kid called me brave," Reggie said softly. "Nobody's called me brave in, I can't remember how long." "That's because you've been hiding," Michael said gently. "But you're not hiding anymore. Now the world gets to see who you really are." Reggie took a deep breath. "That's terrifying, Mike." "I know, but you're not doing it alone." They walked to Michael's car. As they drove through Detroit's streets, Reggie stared out the window. "Do you remember what you said to me in 1993? Reggie asked suddenly. "So after you won the championship?" "You make me better," Michael quoted. "Yeah, you meant it on the court, but I'm starting to think it meant more than that." Michael glanced at him. "What do you mean?" "We pushed each other to be better players," Reggie said. "But maybe we were also supposed to push each other to be better people. Maybe that's what friendship really is. Not just celebrating the wins, but being there for the losses, too." Michael felt emotion welling up again. "When did you get so wise?" "When I lost everything," Reggie said honestly. "Turns out hitting rock bottom teaches you a lot about what really matters." They pulled up to the hotel where Michael's team had booked Reggie a room. A nice one, comfortable but not over the top. Michael had been careful about that. Not too fancy to make Reggie uncomfortable, but nice enough to help him feel human again. "This is me," Reggie said, unbuckling his seatbelt. "I'll pick you up tomorrow morning," Michael said. "We're going apartment hunting. Find you a real place to live." "Mike, you don't have to." "I want to. Let me do this. Not as your employer, not as a charity, as your friend." Reggie nodded slowly. "Okay, as a friend." Before getting out, Reggie pulled something from his pocket, his half of the broken medal. He held it up. "You still have yours?" he asked. Michael pulled out his keychain, showing his half. "We should put them back together," Reggie said. "Glue them or something." Michael shook his head. "No, let's keep them separate." "Why?" "Because the beauty isn't in the medal being whole," Michael explained. "The beauty is in two people carrying their own piece, choosing to stay connected even when they're apart. That's what real friendship is." Reggie stared at his half of the medal, then at Michael. "You know, for a basketball player, you're pretty deep." They both laughed. Real laughter, the kind that comes from the belly and heals the soul. "Get some rest," Michael said. "Tomorrow's a big day. First day of your new life." Reggie got out of the car, then leaned back in through the window. "Mike, thank you for everything, for coming to Detroit, for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself, for being the friend I needed, even when I didn't deserve it. You always deserved it, Reg. Always." Reggie walked into the hotel. Michael watched until he was safely inside, then drove back to his own hotel. 6 months later. The scene shifted. Months had passed, but so much had changed. Reggie stood in front of a classroom full of high school kids in Charlotte. He wore khakis and a Hornets polo shirt. He looked healthy now. He'd gained weight. His color was better. His eyes were clear and focused. "Who can tell me," Reggie was saying, "what the biggest mistake young athletes make with money?" A girl raised her hand. "They trust the wrong people?" "Exactly," Reggie pointed at her. They trust managers who promise to make them rich forever. They trust friends who want to invest their money. They trust family members who say they'll take care of everything. He walked around the room, making eye contact with each student. I lost $47 million because I trusted blindly. I signed contracts without reading them. I gave control of my money to someone I loved like a brother. And he stole everything. The kids were silent, hanging on every word. But here's what I learned, Reggie continued. Losing the money wasn't the worst part. The worst part was losing myself. I let the shame and the anger turn me into someone I didn't recognize. I hid from the world for 6 years. I gave up on myself. A boy in the back raised his hand. How did you get through it? Reggie smiled. A friend reminded me that my value isn't in my bank account. It's in who I am and what I can give to others. And that friend gave me a second chance. Not a handout, a hand up. There's a big difference. After class, several students came up to thank him. One girl, shy and quiet, waited until everyone else left. "Mr. Thorne," she said softly, "my dad lost his job last year. We might lose our house. He's really sad all the time. Can I tell him your story? That things can get better?" Reggie knelt down. "You tell your dad that losing a job doesn't mean losing his value. You tell him that asking for help is brave, not weak. And you tell him that a man I really respect once told me, 'This isn't over. Not by a long shot. Things can always get better if you don't give up.'" The girl hugged him. Reggie hugged her back, tears in his eyes. This was why he'd taken the job. Not for the salary, not for the pride, for moments like this, for the chance to help people avoid his mistakes, for the opportunity to turn his pain into purpose. That evening, Michael and Reggie sat in an empty gym in Charlotte. They'd started meeting like this once a week, just shooting around, talking about life, like the old days in those empty arenas, but better, wiser, more honest. "How was your day?" Michael asked, passing Reggie the ball. "Good, really good. I talked to a girl whose family is struggling. I think I helped her." Michael smiled. "You're helping a lot of people, Reg." "The Legends Support Fund has helped 47 former athletes so far," Reggie said, shooting the ball. It swished through the net. 47 people who might have ended up like me, living in their cars, giving up on life. We saved them, Mike. "We saved each other," Michael corrected. They played in comfortable silence for a while. Then Reggie stopped, holding the ball. "I need to tell you something," Reggie said seriously. Michael's heart sank. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. It's just, I've been thinking about Diana, my ex-fiancée." "Okay." "She called me last week. She saw the press conference. She apologized for leaving. She said she wants to try again." Michael's expression was carefully neutral. "What did you say?" "I said no." "No?" Reggie bounced the ball once, slowly. "She left when things got hard. She only came back when things got better." "That's not love, Mike. That's convenience. Real love stays even when it's difficult. Real friendship stays even when it's painful." He looked at Michael directly. "You stayed. You came to that hospital even when I tried to push you away. You stood with me at that press conference even though it would have been easier to just write a check and walk away. You didn't give up on me, even when I'd given up on myself." Michael's throat felt tight. "Of course I didn't give up on you." "That's real friendship," Reggie said. "That's what I want in my life now. Real people who show up, not just when things are good, but when things are hard. Diana wasn't that person, but you were. You are." Michael walked over and put his arm around Reggie's shoulders. "Brothers?" "Brothers," Reggie agreed. They stood there in that empty gym, two legends who'd battled each other for years, finally understanding what they'd really been fighting for all along. Not championships, not glory, not even greatness. They'd been fighting to find their way to this moment, to this friendship, to this understanding that competition can build you up, but connection is what keeps you standing. Reggie pulled out his half medal. Michael pulled out his. They held them up, side by side, still broken, still separate. But together, they were whole. "You know what's funny?" Reggie said. "We bought this stupid thing as a joke. Two cocky teenagers who thought they'd conquer the world. And we did conquer it," Michael said. "Just not the way we thought we would." "No," Reggie agreed. "We conquered something better. We conquered pride. We conquered shame. We conquered the lies that told us we were alone." Michael looked at his friend, really looked at him. 6 months ago, Reggie had been broken, hopeless, living in a car. Now he was whole again. Not because of money, not because of fame, but because someone had shown him he mattered. "I'm proud of you, Reg," Michael said. "I'm proud of us," Reggie corrected. "We did this together." They kept shooting baskets as the sun set outside, painting the gym in shades of gold and orange. Two old warriors, no longer competing, just two friends, making each other better. The way they always had, the way they always would, or 1 year later. Michael stood on another stage at another press conference. But this time, Reggie stood beside him as an equal. "We're proud to announce," Michael said, "that the Legends Support Fund has now helped 212 former athletes rebuild their lives. We've provided over $30 million in assistance. But more importantly, we've provided hope." Reggie stepped up to the microphone. "Today, I'm announcing my own foundation, the Second Chance Initiative. It's specifically for people who've been victims of financial fraud and betrayal. We'll provide legal help, financial counseling, and emotional support." He paused, emotion in his voice. "Because I know what it's like to lose everything. And I know what it's like to get a second chance. Now, I want to give that gift to others." The crowd applauded. Reporters took notes. Cameras flashed. But Michael and Reggie only saw each other. Two men who'd traveled from rivalry to friendship, from competition to connection, from brokenness to wholeness. After the press conference, as they walked to the car, Reggie said something that made Michael stop in his tracks. "You know what the best part is, Mike." "What?" "For years, people asked me, how does it feel to always be second to Michael Jordan? Like being second meant I was a failure. Like competing against you somehow diminished me." Reggie smiled, a full, genuine, happy smile. "But now I understand. Competing against you didn't make me second place. It made me better. And being your friend doesn't make me less than you. It makes me more than I ever was alone." Michael felt tears building again. "Bish, Reg, we were always meant to be partners," Reggie continued. "Not opponents, not rivals, partners, making each other better, lifting each other up, standing together." Michael pulled Reggie into a hug. "Partners," he agreed. "Always." They pulled back, both wiping their eyes and laughing at how emotional they'd become. "You know," Michael said, "I think we finally figured out what that medal meant." "What?" Michael held up his half. "It was never about being best friends forever. It was about being best for each other, bringing out the best, being there at our best and our worst. That's what makes it real." Reggie held up his half. "To being best for each other." To being best for each other, Michael echoed. They walked to the car together, two legends who'd discovered that the greatest victory wasn't on a basketball court. It was in the quiet moments of friendship, in showing up when it's hard, in believing in someone when they've stopped believing in themselves, in being the person who stays. The sun was setting over Charlotte, painting everything in gold. Michael and Reggie got into the car, talking and laughing, planning their next clinic, their next event, their next way to help people. Two broken pieces of a medal, carried in separate pockets. But together, finally, they were whole. So where are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you're helping us spread more stories of kindness and hope to people who need them. And don't go anywhere yet. Click on the video appearing on your screen right now for another amazing story that will inspire you. Thank you for watching, and remember, real friendship means showing up when it matters most.